All right, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Theory and Theology. On this podcast, we talk a lot about spirituality, religion, different cultures. Today I want to talk about, in general, kind of want to talk about exercise, but mostly kind of want to talk about martial arts. So there's this, let me see. So as far as anything related to anything martial arts, the only things I've really studied are Shotokan karate, kind of more recently, and before that, I don't really know. I don't know if people really consider yoga and Tai Chi as martial arts per se. But I kind of got more into those in grad school and just general karate at a younger age. Again, mostly through books. I used to get them from the library, and I used to know a friend who, when we lived over near LAX, he went to this Kung Fu Sansu studio that I wanted to go through, that I told him about, and his parents put him in it. I think it was $20 a month, and my folks were kind of nah, but I was already in sports and stuff, and they were kind of no. So I didn't really get to do that, and I tried to learn from him, but he was kind of I guess I was kind of giggly, because it was kind of awkward to learn from somebody, and so he only taught me a couple stances, and then he was just kind of being a bit of a jerk about it, I'm not going to teach you anymore. So I was fine, whatever. So I mostly was more so self-taught. And then I grew up with a friend who was taking taekwondo, I think she got up to purple belt. She got pretty far pretty quickly, and she would teach me a little bit, but I didn't really know the details. And then so I would just kind of practice, I would practice sparring with friends and stuff, but it was never super formal. It was more just because I was already athletic as it was, so it was just an extra activity that involves we would do warm-up exercises and some of the kind of motions and stuff, and then me and my brother would kind of practice sparring. We used to, oh man, I'm remembering this. We used to wear our bathrobes, because we had the short, the ones, how you get a shorter bathrobe, or the long length one that's to your ankles. So we used to wear the ones that were shorter up to your knees, and we would put it over our shorts and t-shirt and stuff, and then had belts that we knew how to tie it. We had a neighbor friend who taught us how to tie the belt for similar to how they do it in taekwondo. And so we would practice. We had this little bamboo tree in the corner of our yard near LAX when we used to live over there, and so we would take bamboo sticks of similar lengths, and we would practice basically we would just like beat the crap out of each other with like bamboo sticks and stuff. Like we weren't like injuring each other, but like yeah, we would go pretty hard, and like we never really got like injured, but like you could feel it when you get hit. You'd feel it. And like we used to play soccer barefoot, you know, a lot during the World Cup. Like after 94, I think it was 98, we were a little bit older, and then we were able to go outside a lot, and we played a whole lot of soccer. But we did like martial arts too, and like my brother was like way better than me with like sports, but it was always kind of fun to have somebody to just like play sports with all the time. So we would always be like soccer, basketball, karate, like we were pretty like into just like activities like football, like whatever. We'd always just throw the ball around, you know. He was good at like pitching, he was good at football, he was good at basketball, soccer, running, just about everything athletic. I kind of gravitated a little bit more towards like hockey and baseball than he did. More because I liked rollerblading a little bit more, and we used to play like roller hockey on our back patio. But the back patio was like, it had like square slabs with like little wooden pieces in between, so it wasn't like even ground. So it was like pretty rough. Like I can't even imagine, like we were going pretty fast, and we would like be able to like jump over cracks, and like I can't even imagine doing that now. But we'd be like with hockey sticks and like, you know, a puck or a ball. Like we used to use like a can, like just like crunch a can and use it as a puck, and just like we had our 99-cent store cheap ass like hockey sticks, and we just like, you know, we had all the movements down, like we knew how to do everything. And he had a ball for like pitching that like had all the grips painted on there, so he learned how to pitch. And I used to like catch for his pitching, and like he got really good at pitching, but he never really liked baseball too much, and I kind of didn't really like it that much. It's kind of a hard sport to kind of play solo too, so it was kind of not as fun as like basketball, yeah, baseball, like basketball, hockey, like stuff you could kind of just like do skills by yourself. So yeah, I found it pretty interesting that it was you know, we kind of were into sports and stuff like that. So like with martial arts, more recently there's this YouTube channel called Karate Dojo Waku, and the channel is by this young guy named Yusuke Nagano, and he has a video called Japanese Karate Sensei Reacts to Indian Martial Arts. Kalaripayattu, I think that's how you say it, Kalaripayattu. And really cool video. He's got a bunch of really cool videos, so if you're into like Shotokan karate, he's a good person to follow. Karate Dojo Waku. He's black belt. I suppose he's a sensei. I don't really know, but I think he is. So it was kind of like a review of a video on that style of martial arts, and some things that I kind of was pulling from it were like, you know, how it's kind of thought of as like one of the early martial arts that influenced like Japanese karate and Chinese kung fu, and something that I like to see that I'd never heard of, that he kind of mentioned or picked up on, that I also kind of was noticing, but I was trying to figure out visibly and technically, like, how is it different? So he was talking about how it says that they break form for flexibility, to use like exaggerated movements. So Usually in like a lot of sports, what you usually notice when you develop that like motor memory, a lot of the time you have kind of like your sweet spot form. Basketball's like that, hockey's like that, baseball's like that. With hitting in baseball, with catching in baseball, with pitching or just like throwing in baseball, with catching in football, with, if you even kick, or with like tackling in football, or just anything. With basketball, with like shooting the ball and like catching the ball, like you usually have like a preference for like a certain like sweet spot where you catch the ball and then you take a shot or you pass it. Soccer's the same way. You get the ball at your feet and it just like feels right in a certain exact position where you get really strong at that striking position, either like with how your leg swings and all the motor movements involved with it, and like how your foot hits the ball. Like there's always like this one area that you're just like, this is the strong point, this is my most accurate point. And then tend to, like, at least when I was always growing up playing sports, I always tried to get to that regardless of what angle I was at. I would always try to get to that kind of like sweet spot form that was just like the perfect area. And one thing I noticed is like, okay, like you're kind of like throwing up Hail Marys and stuff when you're like not really in the form. Like you can tell when you're a little off, but then having to try to adjust to it for me was always like really complex. So that was one thing I noticed, was trying to adjust was really a challenge. It wasn't really easy to just like adjust to catching the ball at like a weird angle and then like maybe shooting with my left, because I shoot right-handed in basketball. Like with golf, with hockey, with soccer, I can kind of do both. I'm weaker on my left in soccer, but with hockey and golf, I'm pretty accurate both right and left, but I'm probably... Hockey, I'd say I've got the same strength and same... because for me with hockey, the distance isn't usually as far as for golf. I don't really golf like that either, though, just like mini golf, but like I don't really golf. But just trying to get the form right, get the kind of like angles right, get the positioning right, get the... Like, it really takes a whole lot of motor memory to get there. And I was kind of noticing, in martial arts, you have that too, where it's like the perfect position that you need to be in so that you can stay within form. So one thing I really liked that they mentioned was like breaking form as something to improve flexibility, because when you break form, a lot of times when you go and break form, you're kind of how do I say this? You are kind of like learning how to use the exact techniques, like in different ranges a little bit. You're kind of like you have a more flexible range of how you can like bend and move and stay on balance. Like, I've never really tried that too much. I've always just tried to like strengthen within the exact form that's like the perfect form for me. So that's kind of something to try. I feel like with snowboarding, it really challenges that too. Like right now, I'm kind of like in the process of like very, very early stages snowboard training. It's the beginning of September, and I usually start in September to try to get going by late November, so I'll be prepared, so I don't have to like start the snowboard season with being like completely out of shape. So right now I'm definitely working on flexibility. Today at the gym was more of I tried to go to the beach. I tried, and then ended up at the gym Mostly it was like an assessing day for myself, just looking at my flexibility, my energy, just a lot of things. What's toned, what's kind of needing to get some more muscle mass improvement, where my flexibility is, where it isn't. So mostly for me right now, my back, my hips, they're super tight. Left shoulder's got a bit of an injury that I can't really explain. Right hip has a little bit of an injury that I can't really explain. And that's mostly the injuries I have. But like, yeah, my glutes are very weak, knees, ankles very weak right now. Like, I've definitely lost a lot of muscle mass from having COVID, and I lost a lot of weight during COVID too, which was, I mean, I definitely gained it back. I'm almost glad that I gained it back, but I lost like probably like 8 pounds in like a week, which is like, for me, that's like a lot. Like, and I felt it. Like, I was like very weak. I was like trying to breathe. I would get up and like go from my bedroom to the bathroom or something, and even like taking a shower would just leave me winded, you know. Like I'm, you know, I've been out of shape before, but that's like a whole different level. You know, I wasn't taking enough calories. I wasn't able to exercise. I wasn't able to sleep properly. I wasn't hydrating properly. Like, just nothing was being done properly. But yeah, I've been kind of enjoying just trying to think this kind of stuff through. A lot of it's just been more of a mental, emotional challenge than it has been physical. But yeah, instead of the beach today, I drove by the beach. I was like, it's really too busy for me. It was like 9 a.m. and I was like there was parking, but I already know if it's like just a few parking spots every couple blocks or every block or so, then that means it's real busy at the beach. I want it to be empty, you know, so I can just do what I want to do without feeling like people are staring at me or like whatever. Like, I just like to have the beach to myself, just me and the old people walking. That's all I want. I don't want like anything going on. I don't want anybody there. You know, I want to be in my own head and not having to think about other people. So I'm probably just going to wait till a weekday after work to hit the beach, instead of, you know, going on a weekend, holiday weekend during a heat wave. Because yeah, if there's already people there at 9 a.m., it's only going to get more and more crowded. So I avoided that, went to the gym, was scoping out the pool, because I was like, for me right now, it's going to be just like pool and beach for the most part, just until, you know, my joints can really handle more. And so I went to the gym, just mostly, like I said, it's just like assessing things, and then ended at the sauna in the gym. The pool was empty at 9:30, but by 10:30 I noticed it was pretty full, so I was like, okay. And you know, but yeah, that's how that went. Ended at the sauna. It was super hot in the sauna, obviously, but then I came out of there and everything else felt cooler, even though it's like 90 something degrees. At the moment it's like 94. Let me see how hot it actually is. At the moment it's 91. It's saying the high is going to be 102. So we haven't really hit that. It looks like we're at around like, yeah, it is excessive heat though. And even at the beaches, it's excessive heat. So it says 91, but it also says the high is going to be 102. So I do not like this. I do not like any of this temperature. But let's see. So, like, I went to the sauna because I was like, I just basically warmed up, did some yoga, and then I was like, let me try and the sauna kind of helps a lot with flexibility and with muscle strain, muscle pain, tension. Um, Heat does in general, hot showers. It's not pleasant when it's like freaking hot outside, but I was like, well, that's about as early as I'm gonna get up and go. So I just did what I was gonna do, and I was happy with the decision I made. I only had a protein shake. It was like one of those Owen brand protein shakes. They're 0 sugar. They're organic. They're plant-based. They're like 200 something calories. And I was like, this should be enough because I'm not doing much. And I was sweating profusely. When I was warming up, I was sweating profusely. I was just dripping, literally just dripping on the mat and dripping on the weights and dripping on the floor. And then I was basically just like seeing what my body was doing. I actually didn't have my headphones in, my earbuds. Usually I do work out with them in, but I really didn't have them in, so it was kind of nice to just like focus. Like they didn't have music in that part, so it was kind of, I was in the workout room, the main room with the wood floors, and like I was just doing all my stretching, a little bit of weights just to see, kind of like just for the warm up, because for me yoga works best when I have some kind of a warm up. I considered all the walking I did in the parking lot to be a warm up, because I was like walking up and down the stairs and trying to find the actual door to the gym, because there's like multiple parking structures next to each other, and like the main structure that I've been in before, like it was blocked off, and so I had to go one structure further down, and then I went into that structure, and I was like, shoot, I don't know how to get to the gym from here. So I was like wandering all over the place and like walking around the stairs and walking up the stairs and like just walking. And so by that time, I think it was about 10 minutes of walking, and then I got in the gym and was like walking around looking to see what's available. And like I think it was around 9:35 when I got in the gym. And like, yeah, the pool was empty, the sauna was full, the steam room, I don't really know if it's working. It's kind of funky in there. And then the cycling room was really nice, but empty. The elliptical room and the weights were pretty busy. Like I mentioned, I was sweating a lot, a whole lot. I was really kind of like getting exhausted, and like I said, I had a bottle of water, maybe another half a bottle of water, and then a protein shake. So I hadn't really eaten, because I was like, let me just grab a sub on my way out so I can have something with some veggies in it. So I had, like, after the gym, I had like after a shower too, once I left the gym, I had like a half a sub and then a little bit more of one. And then in a couple hours, I'll probably eat the rest of that sub. And last night I had Taco Bell for dinner. I have to admit that. But I told myself, I'm like, this is the last one. It's a holiday weekend, so I'm just like, let me just, well, I'm already like screwing things up as far as like eating wise. I might as well just stay with the screwing things up eating wise, and then let it be my little cheat days. But I was under on calories yesterday because I didn't really eat a very heavy lunch. I had like not even a half a smoothie, maybe like a quarter of a smoothie and a salad from the garden for lunch. And so I didn't really eat a whole lot, and then I ate dinner late, and I ended up having a headache last evening too. But I kind of just left it to what it was. But yeah, all that to say, now that I've done my assessing, I can kind of figure out what I need to do for my own flexibility. And I kind of like the idea of like breaking regular forms just to kind of get a bit of flexibility in kind of like, they call it exaggerating forms. So in this martial arts, the Kalaripayattu, they have different types of weapons. They have different types of exercises, like flexibility exercises and like drills. And then they had this thing that I saw that I thought was interesting, where they had one person with some oil in a little like container on the ground, and they put their foot dipped in it, and then the other person was just laying on the ground, and so they used their feet to like smear the oil all over the person's back and then the front of their torso. It looked like mainly, I don't know if it was only torso, but it looked like mostly torso. It was like some kind of like an oil treatment, like oil, like it was mainly just like oil, like massage. So I'm pretty sure that helps for flexibility too. That's something I noticed too, is like foam rolling, and even like if you have like one of those little shiatsu back massagers, they work really well for flexibility. And I'm thinking when I get down to San Diego later this month, because my health insurance, I probably should go see a chiropractor, in all honesty. I need to kind of get my shoulder looked at, because it's been since at least April. Like the only time the pain really went away is when I was like laying down for like a week. I was like in bed for like a week because of COVID. And when I was just like laying there for multiple days, that was the first time that I didn't notice that pain. And that was the first time I hadn't really been working out in a while. So, I did work out maybe 2 weekends, a little bit, the last couple weekends or so. Or maybe not last weekend, but the 2 weekends before that maybe. It was too soon though. But I was like, just for my own peace of mind, I just needed to do that, even though I wasn't doing good at it. And yeah, I'm still not done with my day of things that I'm doing, but I tend, when I have full days off, it's like I might as well just break it up and do like an hour here, an hour there, and just keep it really slow, really just kind of focused, and not really too intense, so I can just keep doing it. So that's kind of my goal for today, is just to get through at least one more routine or some kind of set. It's likely just going to be like foam rolling and like back massage, shoulder massage kind of stuff. But it's a lot to kind of try to start like a new thing. Like I kind of know what I'm doing, but I think I've kind of mentioned before, like it is a little bit challenging because my COVID got in the way, a lot of things got in the way really. So I'm kind of building up and just trying to be patient with the process. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say at the moment. That's kind of it for now, and thanks for listening.